Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to another episode of China Update, where I provide you with the most up-to-date political, economic, and geostrategic analysis on the world's number 2 economy. My name is Tony. Let's jump in. Now, let's begin with China's years-long property crisis. In a new report, UBS Group AG has revised its outlook on China's struggling property sector, now expecting a stabilization in home prices by early 2026, sooner than its previous mid-2026 forecast, but still half a decade into when it started. The shift is driven by renewed activity in top-tier cities, according to John Lam, UBS's head of China and Hong Kong property research. Lam, known for his early downgrade of Evergrande before its collapse, surprised the market again last year by taking a bullish stance while most analysts remain pessimistic. Now he sees multiple indicators pointing toward a quicker rebound. Among the key factors driving the recovery are an uptick in second-hand home transactions in February, rising premium land sales, and a more stable volume of home listings. These trends mirror patterns seen during China's last real estate rebound in 2014 through 2015. Additionally, after 4 years of correction, inventory turnover in Tier 1 cities has returned to 14 months, a level that historically signaled renewed developer investment. However, Lam expects China's property market to become more polarized, with regional developers in top-tier cities outperforming those operating nationwide. He believes builders with premium land banks in those areas will have a competitive edge in planning and pricing their projects. This point was picked up and expanded on by Peking University Professor of Finance Michael Pettis in a series of posts over the weekend, where he observed, quote, "I think it no longer makes sense to talk about China's property sector without recognizing, in fact, that there are at least 2 very different property sectors in China. And John Lam recognizes the distinction. As I've been saying for nearly a year, following a presentation made late last summer by Chen Long, head of Plenum China, property prices may indeed be bottoming out in the richer 6 to 7 eastern provinces and municipalities. These are jurisdictions with healthier growth, i.e. more driven by hard budget-constrained parts of the economy, mostly manageable debt burdens, and perhaps, most importantly, growing and relatively young working populations. The rest are more dependent on soft budget growth and have unmanageable debt burdens and declining working populations in which national demographic pressures are exacerbated by the migration of entrepreneurial young people to the faster-growing eastern provinces. Anyone thinking about property pressure in China shouldn't treat these very different regions as representing a Chinese property market. In one region, we are probably near a bottom, and in the other, we are probably far from it. What we should be thinking about instead are the regional and even provincial self-reinforcing loops between property prices, property investment, provincial revenues, demographics, and the debt burden. They suggest a multi-tiered set of outcomes." End quote. Next up, China's long-held dominance in the global rare earths market is set to decline substantially as new sources emerge, according to researchers from Beijing-based the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences, CAS. A recent study published in Chinese Rare Earths predicts that China's share of global rare earth production will drop from its current 62% to just 28% by 2035 and further down to 23% by 2040. The research, led by CAS Ganjiang Innovation Academy in Jiangxi Province, signals a, quote, fundamental shift, end quote, in the industry. The emergence of new mining frontiers in Africa, South America, and Australia is expected to significantly erode China's dominance. Even the country's stronghold on heavy rare earths in southern China faces challenges from projects in Greenland and South America. Rare earths are essential for high-tech industries, including the production of smartphones, electric vehicles, and military equipment. China's control over these resources has long provided it with a strategic geopolitical advantage. However, the study warns that increasing diversification in global supply chains could weaken Beijing's leverage. The research used advanced agent-based modeling to analyze 1,000 global deposits and 144 viable mines, forecasting significant shifts in supply. Africa's rare earth production is expected to rise from less less than 1% in 2025 to 6% by 2040. With major projects in South Africa and Tanzania, Brazil's Amazonian deposits could contribute up to 13% of global demand. And on my other channel, Market Update, over the weekend we discussed how US President Donald Trump has invoked emergency powers to enhance domestic production of critical minerals, aiming to reduce US dependence on foreign imports, particularly from China. To counter these trends, the study suggests that China expand domestic exploration, strengthen strategic partnerships, and build a robust national reserve system to manage market volatility and supply disruptions. But it does seem that China's dominance of rare earths is now coming to a very real end. As many of you know, last week I launched Market Update, my new second channel. I deeply appreciate those who went over and watched the videos and gave me your feedback. The feedback has been overwhelmingly positive, which is wonderful. I can now announce that the plan going forward is to produce 5 episodes of Market Update a week, Monday through Friday. China Update will not change. I will continue doing Monday through Saturday videos of China Update. For those of you who have not seen Market Update yet, if you do like China Update style coverage but would like to see it to a wider set of geographies, I would recommend giving it a look. I've put a link to the latest episode of Market Update, which went up an hour ago, in the description below, and I'm also going to pin a link in the comments below. Check it out and let me know what you think. If you're enjoying today's episode of China Update, don't forget to hit the like button. Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee links are in the description for those who want to support the channel. I'm now independently producing 2 channels, and I still want to continue primarily being supported by subscriber support, so this is a tremendous help. Thank you so much. And finally for today, last week US-based Rhodium Group published an excellent report on China's industrial policies, arguing, quote, "Compared to other countries, China's approach to industrial policy has been characterized by broader and more entrenched market distortions, deeply systemic rather than targeted, and with a far greater distortive effect on global trade." End quote. Now, I've tried my best to summarize the salient points of this long report, and to end today's video we will examine some of this here. So these are the points made within the report itself. In recent years, industrial policy has gained traction among major economies, with governments increasing support for domestic industries. However, China's approach to state intervention remains distinct in scale, scope, and systemic impact, creating significant distortions in global markets. Unlike the targeted subsidies seen in Western economies, China's state-driven industrial policies extend across entire value chains, leveraging a vast array of financial, regulatory, and political tools to strengthen domestic firms. China employs a broader and more entrenched range of market interventions compared to its global peers. These include direct grants, tax benefits, and preferential access to land, energy, and financing, all deployed on a scale unmatched by other economies. While such mechanisms exist elsewhere, China's implementation is far more pervasive. For instance, incredibly, over 98% of A-share-listed companies in China received some form of state subsidy in 2020. Moreover, the country's financial sector operates under implicit state guarantees, leading to credit allocations based on political priorities rather than market fundamentals. The Chinese government has also played a critical role in shaping the business landscape by directing resources to strategic industries. Local authorities construct industrial infrastructure and provide firms with land and facilities at below market rates, effectively subsidizing production costs. Additionally, state-owned enterprises, SOEs, frequently supply key inputs at artificially low prices, creating an unfair advantage for Chinese manufacturers on the global stage. These extensive state interventions, the report argues, have led to a persistent overcapacity issue, where Chinese firms produce more than what the domestic or global market can absorb. This results in excess supply flooding international markets, depressing prices, and undercutting foreign competitors. Key industries, including steel, solar panels, and electric vehicles, have been particularly affected, sparking trade disputes with major economies such as the US and the European Union. Compounding the problem is the opacity of China's state support system. Local governments play a crucial role in distributing subsidies, but transparency remains minimal, making it difficult for trade regulators to track and counteract distortions. Investigations under the World Trade Organization's Subsidies and Countervailing Measures (SCM) framework have struggled to address China's complex network of state interventions. Existing legal mechanisms, including countervailing duties, have been used to challenge China's practices, but they are often insufficient given the scale and complexity of Beijing's industrial policies. Recent efforts, such as the European Commission's investigation into Chinese electric vehicles, have sought innovative approaches to counteract these distortions by treating China's entire financial system as state-directed. However, such measures remain limited in scope. Now, it is worth quoting the Rodian Group's report conclusion at length. Quote, China's distortive industrial policies and practices are already affecting market outcomes in China and abroad. In China, they are creating growing disconnect between supply and demand at the macro level and intense competition and cutthroat price wars in a range of sectors at the micro level. Abroad, they have ballooned China's global export shares in many sectors over the past decade, especially since the pandemic. The combination of weak domestic demand and expanding industrial capacity increased China's manufacturing trade surplus by $775 billion between 2019 and 2023, more than Belgium's entire GDP, or 3 times that of Greece. In 2024, China's trade surplus reached a record high, approaching $1 trillion. Excess production capacity drove a surge in export volumes while pushing prices downward, with monthly year-on-year export quantity growth averaging 14%, significantly outpacing the 7% growth in export value. The effect of these policies is most pronounced on advanced economies. The EU, the US, Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan collectively lost 2.7 percentage points of global export market share between 2019 and 2022, while China gained 2.8 percentage points. Despite this, Beijing is not changing course, but explicitly doubling down. The party's twice-a-decade third plenum held in July of 2024 pledged to maintain the supply-side expansion of high-tech industries, exporting manufacturing, and other favoured sectors. Crucially, there was no discussion of deeper reforms to China's financial system, the core driver of the distortions and spillovers affecting global markets. End quote. Ultimately, China's industrial policies highlight the urgent need for global trade frameworks to adapt. While protectionist measures may offer temporary relief for affected industries, a more comprehensive and modernized approach to trade governance is essential to address the systemic distortions that undermine global markets. Okay, that is today's episode of China Update. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Have a good Monday, have a productive week, and I will see you all tomorrow.